They thought I was just another homeless veteran, a broken man they could torment for sport. What those bikers didn't realize when they destroyed everything I owned was that before I slept in this alley, I was SAS, one of the most lethal Special Forces operators Her Majesty ever deployed. 22 years of service, 11 deployments, for major conflicts. For years I've kept my skills locked away, trying to forget the things I've done. But when they threatened to return, laughing as they ground my service medals into the dirt, something cold and familiar awoke inside me. You see, I've eliminated high-value targets surrounded by armies of guards. Finding 5 amateur thugs in a small city? Child's play. Now they're about to learn that the most dangerous predator isn't always the most obvious one. If my story of survival and justice resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens when someone pushes a forgotten warrior too far. Drop a comment about what you'd have done in my situation. This is just one battle, follow for the whole war. The morning sun filters through the gaps between buildings, casting long shadows across the alleyway I call home. I've been here for 3 years now. 3 years since I couldn't make rent anymore. 3 years since the nightmares became too much and the bottle became my only friend. 3 years since I traded a respectable apartment for a shopping cart full of everything I own and a makeshift shelter against the brick wall of an abandoned factory. My name is James Mercer. Once upon a time, I was Staff Sergeant James Mercer, Special Air Service, Her Majesty's finest. 22 years of service, 11 deployments for major conflicts. Now I'm just the old vet, or that homeless guy, to the people who hurry past, averting their eyes like my condition might be contagious. I don't blame them. Nobody wants to think about how quickly life can change, how a decorated soldier can end up sleeping rough in an alley. PTSD is a cruel companion. It robbed me of sleep first, then my job, then my dignity. The Veterans Affairs Office tried, but the backlog was long, the resources thin, and my patience thinner. Eventually, I stopped showing up for appointments. Pride is a stubborn thing, even when you've got nothing else left. I keep my small corner of the alley tidy. My shopping cart contains everything important: a worn sleeping bag, changes of clothes, my father's watch, my service photo, and the weather medal case I can't bear to part with, no matter how desperate things get. The makeshift shelter isn't much, just tarps stretched over a frame of discarded PVC pipe, but keeps the rain off and offers some privacy from prying eyes. Most mornings follow the same routine. I wake before dawn, fold my bedding, and make myself presentable at the public restroom in the park 2 blocks over. Some days I panhandle near the financial district, where guilt and loose change flow more freely. Other days I collect recyclables, which doesn't pay much but feels more like honest work. Today, I'd plan to do a bit of both. I'm organizing my cart when I hear them before I see them, the rumble of motorcycles growing louder until the noise bounces off the brick walls around me. 5 bikes pull into the alley, blocking the exit to the street. I straighten up slowly, my old instincts kicking in as I assess the situation. 5 riders, all male, leather cuts with patches I don't recognize. Not Hell's Angels or any organized club I know, just local wannabes with more attitude than sense. "Well, look what we got here, boys," says the leader, a heavy-set man with a patchy beard and sunglasses despite the early hour. "Some bum's been setting up shop in our shortcut." I say nothing, just stand with my hands visible. No sudden movements. I learned long ago how to appear non-threatening while remaining ready. The muscles in my back tense involuntarily. "You deaf, old man?" Another one chimes in, revving his engine. "Ricky asked you a question." "I'm not looking for trouble," I say, my voice gravelly from disuse. "Just passing through, same as you." The leader, Ricky, dismounts his bike, and the others follow suit. They swagger toward me with the artificial confidence of men who only feel powerful in packs. "That's so. Looks to me like you've set up a whole damn apartment here." Ricky kicks at one of the PVC pipes holding up my shelter. It wobbles but holds. "This is private property, you know." "It's abandoned," I reply calmly. "Owner went bankrupt 3 years ago. Building's been empty since." This seems to irritate him. He probably expected fear, maybe pleading. Instead, he gets the measured response of someone who's faced far worse than an alley full of weekend warriors. "Oh, a smart bum," Ricky sneers. "You think you know everything, huh? What's that on your cart?" "Army surplus jacket." He laughs and looks back at his friends. "Playing soldier, are we?" I remain silent. The jacket is mine, earned through blood and service, but there's no point explaining that to him. He wouldn't understand the weight of what those faded patches really mean. "Hey, I asked you a question, Valor Thief," Ricky says, stepping closer. "Where'd you steal the uniform from, huh? Some Army-Navy store? Real disrespectful, pretending to be something you're not." The irony almost makes me smile. If he only knew how many nights I've lain awake wishing I could be something else, wishing I could forget the things I've seen and done in that uniform. "It's mine," I say simply. "Yeah, right," scoffs one of the others, a lanky man with sleeve tattoos. "And I'm the Queen of England." Ricky circles my cart, eyeing my possessions with contempt. "What's worth taking, boys? Probably got booze hidden somewhere." "Leave it alone," I say, my voice dropping lower. A warning tone that once made new recruits snap to attention. These men, however, just laugh. Ricky reaches for my cart, and I step forward. "Don't." He pauses, surprised by my firmness, then his face twists with anger. "Or what, old man? What exactly do you think you're going to do to us?" I consider my options. There are 5 of them, all younger, all larger. I'm 53 with a bad knee and chronic back pain. In my prime, these odds would have been acceptable. Now, they're decidedly not in my favor. But some things are worth standing for. "Just move on," I say. "There's nothing here for you." For a moment, I think it worked. Ricky hesitates, perhaps seeing something in my eyes that gives him pause. But peer pressure is a powerful force. One of his friends laughs nervously, and Ricky's resolve stiffens. "Shut up and step back," he growls, shoving me hard. I stumble but keep my footing. Years of combat training don't simply disappear, even when the body weakens. I regain my balance and stand my ground, saying nothing. My silence seems to infuriate him more than any retort could have. With a curse, he turns and flips my cart over, sending my meager possessions scattering across the dirty alley floor. The others join in, laughing as they kick through my things. One finds my metal case, pries it open, and whistles. "Hey, looks like the bum's got some fancy fake medals here." Something shifts inside me then. A cold stillness that I haven't felt in years. The medals aren't just metal and ribbon. They're markers of moments when I did what needed doing, when I put duty above fear, when I saved lives, and yes, when I took them. They were presented to me by generals and once by the Queen herself. They aren't much in monetary terms, but they're proof that I was someone once. "Put that down," I say, my voice deadly quiet now. The man with the metal case laughs and tosses it to Ricky, who catches it one-handed. "Or what, Sergeant Homeless? You'll court-martial me." He drops the case and grinds it under his boot heel. The sound of cracking glass and bending metal cuts through me like shrapnel. What happens next is automatic. Muscle memory from thousands of hours of close-quarters combat training. I step in, palms strike to Ricky's sternum to create distance, pivot, elbow to the temple of the man reaching for me from behind. Both movements fluid, efficient, almost gentle compared to what I'm capable of. Both men stumble back, shocked more than hurt. I've pulled my punches, a warning, not an attack. "What the fuck?" Ricky gasps, clutching his chest. "Leave now," I say calmly, "before this becomes something you'll regret." For a moment, I see fear flash across their faces, the sudden realization that they've misjudged the situation badly. But then Ricky's face hardens with embarrassment and wounded pride. "Get him," he snarls. 3 of them rush me at once. In my youth, I could have handled this easily. Now I manage to redirect the first, using his momentum to send him sprawling, but the second lands a solid punch to my ribs. Pain blooms sharp and familiar. The third gets an arm around my neck from behind. I break the hold using techniques that were second nature during close protection details for diplomats in hostile territories, but I'm slower than I once was. As I twist free, Ricky's boot connects with my bad knee, and it buckles. I go down hard on the concrete. They're on me in seconds, boots and fists. I curl to protect my vital organs, the way I taught countless recruits to do when overwhelmed. The pain is distant somehow, an old friend coming to visit after a long absence. "Not so tough now, are you?" Ricky pants, delivering another kick to my side. Through swollen eyes, I see him pick up a length of discarded pipe. This is about to get much worse. But before he can swing it, a shout echoes down the alley. "Hey, what the hell are you doing? I'm calling the cops." A woman's voice. One of the baristas from the coffee shop around the corner. The one who sometimes brings me leftover pastries at the end of her shift. The bikers hesitate, looking to Ricky for direction. He curses, throws down the pipe, and points at me. "This isn't over, old man. We use this alley every day, and now we know where you sleep. Better be gone by tomorrow, or we'll finish this conversation properly." They retreat to their motorcycles, engines roaring to life with unnecessary revving, a child's attempt at intimidation after the fact. As they pull away, the barista, Sarah, according to her name tag, rushes toward me. "Oh my God, are you okay? Should I call an ambulance?" I sit up slowly, taking inventory of the damage. Split lip, bruised ribs, possibly cracked. The knee is bad, but no worse than usual. Nothing life-threatening. No ambulance, I mutter. No hospitals. No insurance, no address, no way to pay. Hospitals ask too many questions and call too many authorities. I've avoided the system for years. I'm not about to dive back in now. Sarah helps me gather my scattered belongings. Most are intact, but my shelter is destroyed, the PVC pipes snapped beyond repair. The metal case is dented, the glass shattered, but the metals themselves are unharmed. Small mercies. "Those guys come through here sometimes," Sarah says as she hands me a torn photograph. It's the one of my unit, taken in Afghanistan in 2006. Half the men in it are now dead. They're trouble. Wannabe outlaws who work day jobs at the auto parts factory and play biker on weekends. I nod, tucking the photo carefully into my jacket pocket. "They'll be back." "You should report them. Or at least find somewhere else to stay tonight," she suggests. I shake my head. No police. For the same reasons as no hospitals. Besides, what would I report? That some local boys roughed up a homeless vet? That wouldn't even warrant paperwork. Sarah looks troubled but doesn't push it. "At least let me bring you some ice for your face." While she's gone, I take stock of my situation. The bikers will return, probably drunk and looking to finish what they started. My shelter is destroyed. My body aches in a dozen places. But oddly enough, through the pain and exhaustion, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Focus. Purpose. The fog of depression and alcohol that's clouded my mind for so long has temporarily lifted, burned away by the clarity that comes with immediate danger. I know what needs to be done. After Sarah returns with ice and food, fussing over me like a worried daughter, I assure her I'll be fine and wait for her to leave. Then I begin methodically sorting through my possessions, separating what I need from what I can leave behind. The process is familiar: mission prep, equipment check, contingency planning. I conceal most of my belongings in a loose brick cavity in the factory wall, a hiding spot I discovered months ago but never needed until now. What I keep are essentials only: the metal case, a change of clothes, water, my old military flashlight, and a few other items that might prove useful. Then I disappear. Finding a secondary position isn't difficult. 2 blocks over, an office building under renovation offers plenty of shadow-filled corners where an experienced operator can remain unseen. I settle in to watch and wait, behaviors as natural to me as breathing. Night falls. I don't sleep. Years of insomnia have given me one advantage: I can function on minimal rest when needed. I clean myself up as best I can in a public restroom, change clothes, and make my way to the one place in this city where I know I can find what I need. Marcus runs a military surplus store on the edge of downtown. He's ex-Army himself, served in Iraq during Desert Storm. He never asks questions when I come in to buy a coffee from the small pot he keeps brewing near the register. Sometimes he slips me a new pair of socks or a protein bar, always with a nod that says he understands. Soldier to soldier. Tonight, I'm not there for charity. I have $63 saved up, emergency money I've kept hidden inside the sole of my right boot. It's everything I have, but this qualifies as an emergency. The bell jingles as I enter. Marcus looks up from his inventory sheets, recognition followed by shock crossing his face. "Jesus, James. Who worked you over?" I shrug. Disagreement about property rights. He doesn't laugh at the weak joke, just gestures to the small table by the coffee pot. "Sit before you fall down. What do you need?" Not "what happened," or "should I call someone?" Just "what do you need?" This is why I respect Marcus. I sit and lay it out for him, the situation, the threats, the inevitable return of the bikers. Marcus listens without interrupting, then nods slowly. "You're not planning to hurt these punks, are you?" "Because I can't be part of that." "No," I say truthfully. "But I need to be prepared to defend myself. And I need to convince them to leave me alone permanently." Marcus considers this, then disappears into the back room. He returns with a small cardboard box and sets it on the table. Surplus gear from a police equipment auction. Non-lethal stuff. He opens the box to show me a tactical flashlight with strobe function, zip ties, a canister of military-grade pepper spray, and a telescoping baton. The spray's still good. They overordered for the G20 summit and had to offload the excess. The baton's technically illegal for civilians, but I'm not exactly a civilian, and we both know it. I place my wadded bills on the table. How much of this will that cover? Marcus pushes the money back toward me. Consider it a loan between veterans. Pay me back when you can. I want to refuse, pride again, but practicality wins out. I need these tools more than I need my pride right now. I nod my thanks, unable to find words adequate for the moment. Just promise me one thing, Marcus says as he bags the items discreetly. Don't become what they think you are. You're better than that. I understand his concern. He's seen it before, vets who snap, who let the violence they've been trained for spill over into civilian life with tragic consequences. That's not my intention. I've seen enough blood in my lifetime. I've caused enough of it. This isn't about vengeance. It's about survival and sending a message. I promise, I tell him, and I mean it. For the next 24 hours, I observe the alley from various vantage points, noting patterns of foot traffic, blind spots, entry and exit routes. The bikers don't return during the day, confirming my suspicion that they'll come at night, probably after the bars close. I use the time to prepare my ground, making subtle adjustments to the environment that most wouldn't notice, but that will give me every advantage when the time comes. I cache supplies at strategic points: water, first aid items borrowed from a public restroom, escape routes cleared of obstacles. At dusk, I return to my alley and make it appear as though I've tried to rebuild my shelter, creating the impression that I've ignored their warning. In reality, it's bait for a trap. The hours crawl by. I position myself in shadow, concealed behind a dumpster with clear sight lines to both ends of the alley. The tools for Marcus are arranged for quick access. My body still aches from yesterday's beating, but adrenaline is a powerful analgesic. I check my watch, my father's watch, the only thing of value I have left. Just after midnight. It's nearly 2 a.m. when I hear them. Motorcycles, engines deliberately loud, announcing their presence like predators confident in their dominance. 5 bikes again, same as before. They've been drinking. I can tell from the way they dismount, movements just a little too loose, voices just a little too loud. Looks like the old man didn't listen, says Ricky, kicking at my partially rebuilt shelter. Stubborn bastard. Maybe he's not here, suggests another, glancing around nervously. Oh, he's here, Ricky says, pulling something from his jacket. The streetlight catches metal, a pistol, probably illegal. Aren't you, old-timer? Come on out and take your medicine. I remain motionless, controlling my breathing the way I was taught in sniper school. In the field, I once lay in the same position for 18 hours, waiting for a high-value target to appear. Patience is a sniper's greatest weapon. Check around back, Ricky orders 2 of his crew. He's got to be nearby. Perfect. Dividing their forces, just as I hoped. I wait until the 2 searchers have moved far enough away, then I act. The tactical flashlight comes first, 1,000 lumens of blinding light directly into the eyes of the remaining 3, followed immediately by the strobe function. In the dark alley, the effect is disorienting, especially to those whose pupils are already dilated from alcohol. I move quickly while they're stunned, targeting Ricky first. The telescoping baton extends with a flick of my wrist, and I bring it down precisely on his wrist. The gun clatters to the ground, and a swift kick sends it sliding beneath a dumpster. Before he can react, I'm behind him, arm around his throat in a blood choke, cutting off circulation to the brain without restricting airflow. He struggles briefly, then goes limp. Not dead, just unconscious. The others are still disoriented from the light, cursing and stumbling. I disable the second with a strike to the back of the knee, dropping him to the ground with a howl of pain. The pepper spray takes care of the third, leaving him clawing at his eyes and gasping. The commotion brings the other 2 running back. I'm waiting for them, positioned strategically, so the single streetlight casts my shadow long and imposing against the brick wall. The flashlight illuminates just my face, giving them their first clear look at what they're dealing with. Jesus Christ, one of them whispers. Your friend will wake up in about 30 seconds, I say calmly, gesturing to Ricky's unconscious form. The effects of a properly applied blood choke are temporary. He'll have a headache, but no permanent damage. I step closer, and they instinctively back away. I could have killed all of you in under a minute. The fact that you're still breathing is a choice I made, not a limitation of my abilities. It's not bravado, it's simple fact. Even past my prime, with a bad knee and too many years of hard living, I retain skills that most civilians can't comprehend. The human body has too many vulnerabilities, and I've been trained to exploit each one with maximum efficiency. Who the fuck are you, man? One of the masks, voice trembling. Someone who wanted to be left alone, I reply. That's still all I want. But now I need guarantees. I direct them to drag Ricky, who's beginning to stir, into the pool of light. When all 5 are accounted for, some injured, all frightened, I continue. I've served in conflicts you've only seen in movies. I've eliminated targets who were surrounded by dozens of armed guards. Finding 5 amateur thugs in small city would take me less than a day. I let that sink in before adding, but that would be a waste of skills that were meant for defending this country, not terrorizing its citizens. I toss zip ties at their feet, restrain each other, ankles first, then wrists. They comply without argument, fumbling with the plastic restraints until all 5 are bound. Only then do I step fully into the light, letting them see the complete picture. Not a broken-down homeless man, but a soldier who's seen and done things that would feature in their nightmares if they knew the details. I'm going to release you one by one, I explain. When I do, you'll leave this alley and never return. You won't speak about what happened here. As far as you're concerned, this alley doesn't exist anymore. Neither do I. If I see any of you again, if I hear about you harassing any homeless person in this city, I'll interpret it as a threat, and I will respond accordingly. Fear is evident in their eyes. Good. Fear will ensure compliance better than any physical restraint. Additionally, I continue. I expect compensation for my destroyed property. $500 to be delivered to Marcus at the surplus store on Vine Street. He'll know what it's for. You have 3 days. Ricky, now fully conscious, glares at me from his position on the ground. And if we don't pay? I smile thinly. Then I'll know you've chosen to continue our interaction. I'd advise against that. I cut them free one by one, sending each on his way with a warning look that conveys more than words could. When only Ricky remains, I crouch beside him, speaking low enough that only he can hear. That gun was a mistake. Next time, I take it as evidence that you intend to kill me, and I respond with appropriate force. Understood. He nods jerkily, eyes wide. I slice through his restraints and step back, watching as he scrambles to his feet and backs away. 3 days, I remind him. And Ricky, I know where each of you works, where you live, the names of your girlfriends and families. Don't test me on this. It's a bluff. I know none of these details, but delivered with absolute conviction. He believes it, and that's all that matters. After they're gone, I retrieve Ricky's gun from under the dumpster, eject the magazine, clear the chamber, and disassemble it with practiced ease. The parts go into different storm drains, spread across 6 blocks. No evidence, no weapon, nothing that could complicate matters if they go to the police, which they won't, given the gun and their other activities. I spend the night in my secondary position, alert for their return, though I doubt they'll risk it. When morning comes, I begin rebuilding my shelter, this time with sturdier materials salvaged from construction dumpsters. My body protests every movement, new bruises layered over old ones, but there's satisfaction in the work. 3 days later, Marcus calls me over as I pass his store. "Package came for you," he says, sliding an envelope across the counter. Inside is $600 in cash and a crudely written note. "We're even now. Never saw you, never will again." I count out the $100 I owe Marcus, but he pushes it back. "Keep it. Way I see it, you did the community a service. Those boys have been harassing folks all over the neighborhood." I accept with a nod of thanks. The remainder will help me get through the winter, maybe even put a deposit on a room when the weather turns truly cold. As I turn to leave, Marcus asks, "What did you do to them anyway?" They looked proper scared when they came in. I pause at the door. Just reminded them that appearances can be deceiving. That night, alone in my rebuilt shelter, I take out my metal case. The glass is still broken, but the metals themselves are intact, tangible reminders of a life that sometimes feels like it belonged to someone else. I polish each one carefully with the edge of my shirt, then return them to their place of honor. The encounter with the bikers has changed something in me. For years, I've been adrift, seeing my homelessness as proof of failure, evidence that I had nothing left to offer. But tonight, I used my training to protect myself and potentially others these men might have targeted next. For the first time in too long, I acted with purpose instead of just existing. Tomorrow, I'll visit the VA office again. Maybe this time I'll have the patience to navigate the bureaucracy, to accept the help I've been too proud to take. Maybe not. But I'll try, and that's more than I could say yesterday. For now, though, I settle back against the wall of my small kingdom, secure in the knowledge that at least in this one corner of the world, respect has been restored. Not because I'm a homeless veteran who deserves pity, but because I'm still the man I was trained to be. Someone who stands his ground when it matters, who protects what's his, who understands that true strength lies not in dominating others, but in knowing precisely how much force is necessary and appropriate. The night is quiet around me. For once, I think I might actually sleep.